In that race, the candidate that most of us like won a huge primary victory. And after that huge primary victory, what did a lot of people do? Done. In the bag. It's there. We're not going to have to worry about it. That's what we were saying in February. We were saying something different in April. Let me tell you. And for about 8 weeks after that. And I say this because, as others have noted, next Tuesday we have a primary, a statewide primary for Supreme Court. And we are so fortunate, really fortunate. And I heard Justice Roggensack speak at an event that I was chairing a couple of weeks ago. And then she was on the show with me yesterday. We are so fortunate to have somebody of Pat Roggensack's caliber not only step up and serve, but frankly, in an atmosphere where it'd be easier just to back off and say, that's someone else's job. I don't have to do this. But she didn't do that. She's running again this year. It's why we wanted her to run again, because she knows what she's about. She knows the difference between being a legislator and a judge. And she's brought all of this to this statewide race. Justice Pat Roggensack, I can't thank you enough. Please come on.
That podium's almost bigger than I am, so I'll stand over here on the side a little bit. You know, sometimes it's hard for people to decide what they should look for in a judicial race, and I know you all have thought a lot about it here. But you know, it's really not so difficult. Though we can talk about budgets and raising taxes, lowering taxes, assisting with reductions of crime, we don't take particular issues like that. This race is very explainable. It's really about two things, just two things. It's about experience and judicial philosophy. Now, when you say experience, I take a page out of our governor's book, relevant experience. Relevant to what? Well, you know, it's nice to have the title of Supreme Court Justice, but once you get there, you know what? They really expect you to work. What do I do? What do I do most of my time? Probably 80% of my time, I judge whether another judge got it right, okay? Now, all of you know, you all have different occupations. If you've done the work yourself, and someone says to you, well, did he fix that car right, or is it missing because he didn't put it together right? If you're a mechanic, you know what to look for. I wouldn't have a clue. However, if I'm asked, did that judge do the job right? Did he or she correctly apply the law given the facts? I can tell you, I know. I know the analysis. I've been a judge for almost 17 years. Now, neither of my opponents have spent 1 minute as a judge, but they'd like to start out by judging, did other judges do their job correctly? You know, it's a little bit better to have done the work yourself before you try to analyze whether somebody else got it right. Now, there's another part of experience that's important to this race. The Supreme Court doesn't take a ton of cases, about 60 a year. But we take cases from every kind of law suit that ends up in the courts of Wisconsin. Last year we did a child support case. We do workers' compensation cases, open records cases, every kind of criminal case. So having a broad range of substantive law knowledge is very important to the job that I have. Now, do I know the answer to all the legal questions because I have that experience? No, I don't. But I know where the speed bumps are. I know where to look for problems. And I know when I write an opinion dealing with an insurance contract, I'm not going to goof up the law that relates to an employment contract because they're founded on different policies and different principles. Now, I told you it's about two things, experience and judicial philosophy. Judicial philosophy can come in at least two shades, but I'll tell you how I see it and the way I operate. I'm part of the judicial branch of government. I think it's a very important part of our government. Our Wisconsin Constitution, however, which set up our form of government, set out three branches. There's the legislative branch. That's important too, but I'm not a part of that branch. Then there's the executive branch. That's important too. I'm not a part of that branch either. Now, how does that figure into my job? How do those differences that I say I respect matter? Well, let me tell you how. The most common task I do, the one I do the most often, is interpret a state statute. It's not someone bringing the statute and saying it's unconstitutional. It's someone coming in, got a real smart lawyer over here, and she's telling me the statute means this. Then I got an equally smart lawyer over here, and he's saying, she doesn't know what she's talking about. It means totally the opposite. Well, you know, the case is before the Supreme Court because the meaning is unclear. So what do? I try very hard to figure out what was the legislature trying to accomplish when they enacted the statute, and I interpret the statute consistent with what they were trying to do. You know, I have a phrase taped to it's a saying really, taped to the inside of my chamber's door at the Supreme Court, and I put it there in 2003 when I came to the court. And it's by Eleanor Roosevelt, and it's my all-time favorite saying, and it goes like this: "The future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams." And, you know, I smile whenever I see it, and I see it many times a day. And you know why I smile? Because I believe it's true. And my dream for this election is that you all will get out and vote on Tuesday and again on April 2nd, and that we will continue to have a Wisconsin Supreme Court that respects the three different branches of government that our Constitution set out for us. Thank you so much.